it's back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity, and we are here to discuss the finalists of the best cartoon of the decade.
We have tallied your votes from every single bracket, and now we are here with our finalists. Who is going to triumph? I'm Chris Carr.
I'm Winnie Van Laningham, and this is the best cartoon of the decade, Finals!
Okay, so just to recap quickly, we have all of our semifinalists up here. We've got Gravity Falls for Disney, Bojack Horseman won our wildcard streaming one, we have Korra for Nickelodeon, and Steven Universe for Cartoon Network. So when we look at all of these, do you have any surprises when you look at these guys for who made it to the semifinals?
I thought it was going to be Adventure Time, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Big Mouth, and based on our fan base, The Loud House for Nick.
Oh yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense. For me, I'm pretty much here with everybody. I was really surprised about Steven Universe, which I love so much.
Oh yeah.
But I figured it'd be Adventure Time.
Same.
And then, we all know how disappointed I was that it wasn't DuckTales for Disney, because I think that is the show. I think it encapsulates Disney. But I'm real happy with these dudes. I think this is a really formidable competition.
Listen, you guys didn't pick bad shows, you know?
That's true.
You guys picked some very, very, very fun semifinalists.
We did have a couple people upset too, though, who did write in who they thought should be finalists, and they didn't make it on here. We had a whole bunch of love for Adventure Time.
Yes.
Which makes so much sense.
Of course, and that was so neck and neck. That was so close.
That one was really, really close.
It was almost unfair that they were pitted against each other.
Exactly.
Because I was like, wait, they both should.
That was the Sophie's choice.
It absolutely was.
And then, of course, we had a whole bunch of people write in for Dragon Prince.
Yes.
Which is a newer property. It only had 2 seasons when we were talking about this bracket. It's very, very new and fresh. But I love that show, and it is really good, and it's proven to be such a good show. They've cleaned up the animation. They've done really, really wonderful stuff. And I think, the 2020s, it's going to prove to be something that's really, really important for everybody.
Oh, hell yeah. And in the topic of shows that, are no longer with us, R.I.P.
Yeah.
Dude, Star vs. the Forces of Evil is such a good show.
Yeah.
It is so funny. It has such an amazing voice cast. I personally feel like me and Star Butterfly are one and the same.
Yeah.
It was just such a fun, wonderful show, and I'm so glad that so many people wrote that vote in.
Absolutely. But we got to talk about who actually is on this board, though, right?
Yeah!
So, semifinals number 1.
Let's do it. So first up, we really have to say what happened with Gravity Falls.
Yeah.
We gotta talk to you guys about this. We gotta sit you down. We're your big sisters, man. Let us have this heart to heart.
Pull up a chair. We're going to sit in it backwards like this, like Uncle Jesse.
We're dads.
So, someone loves Gravity Falls so much.
And we admire that passion.
Yes.
We do.
100%. They stuffed the ballot box with over 1,000 last-minute votes right before we started filming.
That was some guy or gal sitting at their computer and going, Gravity Falls, Gravity Falls, Gravity Falls until you die. I mean, who are you?
Yeah.
Please tell us.
I want to know.
Please tweet us.
I admire your
Chris
chutzpah.
Carr. Dude, I admire your dedication to this show because, let's be real, this show is great.
It's so good. Like you've said, it has X-Files vibes, it has Twin Peaks vibes. It's fun and mysterious and such a departure for Disney.
Oh, this is one of those shows where it's like, Disney Channel made this?
Mm-hmm.
I finally feel seen as the weird kid.
Yeah.
It was a completely different show from anything that they've ever done.
Exactly. The characters are delightful. The storyline is so interesting and keeps you actually invested in it. Because it's not just a, episodic monster of the week kind of show. There is this storyline that you follow through on it. It's a fun mystery with a great voice cast, and they killed it on this.
Dude, and let's just talk about the fact that this is one of those perfect shows that was great all the way up to the finale.
Amazing ending. Really, really just succinctly ended. Still had room for more if they wanted to do it, but really satisfying.
So satisfying, and it's how many shows do that?
Exactly.
Not many.
Not many, and not well.
There's always a Game of Thrones who sneaks a Starbucks cup in there, and then Dany, and then the dragon, and then There's always that. There's always going to be shows like that, but Gravity Falls was actually a perfect show.
Absolutely.
Every season, great. Finale, awesome.
Speaking of other wonderful shows, we've got Bojack Horseman, which I know is something that you have come to learn to appreciate.
I can appreciate.
You can appreciate it, but it's a rough watch sometimes because it is a really intense show despite all these animals and things in it.
There's so many animal puns, and there's Pickles the Pugs, who's just a dumb pug with big tits, and I love that. I love that so much.
Bojack tackles wonderful issues. It makes note of its own missteps. It really talks about Hollywood and entertainment and addiction and familial issues so well that a lot of times you forget that you're watching a cartoon.
It's one of those shows where you never feel alone watching it because you've gone through those things, and it's the perfect show in the regard that it still makes you feel seen and then ups the ante so that you know it's not that bad.
Exactly.
For you know?
100%. So for the two of them, I feel like I know which way you're going to lean, but who would you want to move on to the finals?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with the guy who voted 1,000 times. Gravity Falls, man. Pug deals.
I'm going to go Bojack Horseman, and I'm going to strongly say, I think Bojack's taking the whole thing.
Oh man.
Yeah. I said this in its bracket. I think this is a show that transcends its medium. So for so long, we have had this issue with what a cartoon is and what it's supposed to be. And honestly, a lot of people looking down their noses about the potential of a cartoon because of its medium. The same thing with like fantasy and sci-fi.
It's not just for kids.
No,
it's
and
also for adults.
It's just taking one form of film and television and utilizing it in the best way it can and elevating the entire kind of medium and genre here. So we're getting this cartoon that has amazing visuals, incredible trippy moments too, especially in the last 2 seasons, bold narrative choices like Free Churro or the Undersea episode that you don't see in regular television. I think this is a show that is just so smart, so well written, and it's doing bold things that even traditional television is not willing to even try right now. I think this show is so innovative that it should be the best cartoon of the decade and one of the best shows of the decade too.
Ooh, man, I mean, I know that you mean that because I hung out with you after you watched Free Churro.
Yeah.
And you said to me that this was an episode of television that you have never seen done before in your life. And that was what made me realize that, holy hell, yeah, man, this show is great. No other show has done that. I would argue that Free Churro as an episode is better than any episode of any of these shows up here. It's a very good episode. That being said, I'm still sticking with Gravity Falls.
And the winner of semifinals 1 with 72% of the votes is Gravity Falls.
Collusion! Collusion!
I don't know, some people want to be happy instead of reminded of every ex-boyfriend they've ever had.
Oh my God.
I don't know, there was a pug deal. Bojack Horseman has only had a drug deal.
They've got a pug in it.
Yeah, they've got a barrel full of pugs in it.
Listen, Dipper gets to move on, but I still blame some Russians for this, all right?
So that is after I purged all of the suspicious votes. This is still a landslide Gravity Falls win.
Dang!
So
I
listen,
mean, it's a good show.
Mr. 1000, your voice was still heard, but didn't even affect it. We still won! Yes!
All right, so in semifinals 2, we have The Legend of Korra going up against Steven Universe. Again, 2 pretty different shows, but we also still have this idea, though, of like a chosen one, kind of, right? Somebody with a great destiny to fulfill. So that's fun to have these 2 up against each other. That being said, I feel like you are more on the Steven side of things.
I really am, yeah.
Now why?
Oh, because, okay, so I think that Steven Universe is an incredibly important show where it has taught so many people how to feel their feelings and how to be themselves. And it's a show that right off the bat was extremely inclusionary. And it has shown us so many facets of life. And I think that when we're talking about like the most influential show, to me it's like what impacted everyone on a global scale. What has reached out to millions of hearts and have made them kinder. I think that Steven Universe is that show.
That's great. That was very well said, Whit. That was beautiful. I think I've got to agree with you here, too. And I'll first say I love Korra. I love Korra so much. I think the fights are so much better in Korra than they were in Last Avatar. But I think having Korra be a continuation of Last Avatar is one of the things that hurts it the most.
Yeah.
Because you have this really fun show that's living in the shadow of this thing that we all grew up with that we thought was so perfect and wonderful. And we had to get reacquainted with this kind of new version of this universe, these new people, this new avatar.
Yeah.
And I think that took a lot for people to get on that bandwagon with them. Whereas Steven Universe, it is its own mythos, it is its own starting point, And like you were saying, it does such a good job of covering so many things and making so many people feel included and loved. And the songs are bops, man.
The songs are bops.
They're
and,
so good.
I think that the best lesson that I've learned from Steven Universe that I apply every day in my life is if every pork chop were perfect, we wouldn't have hot dogs.
Yeah, I love that line. And the finale, too, was just beautiful of,
Gorgeous.
It doesn't matter if you don't like me. I hope you will at some point, but it's
If you
okay.
don't, that's you.
Live or let live, you know? So I gotta go with you on this. I think Steven Universe moving on.
I think it's going to take it.
And the winner of semifinals 2, by another landslide of 79% of the votes, is Steven Universe.
Yes!
Aww.
Aw, hell yeah.
Look at
Look at
these
these
cute
two
little
cartoon boys.
Look at
Look
their
at these
cute
sweet
little
guys.
jawlines.
Okay, look at the burp, 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 burp. I love it.
Dude, we're in the friggin' finals now. Last 2 cartoons. 2 cartoons enter. 1 cartoon leaves. Who wins?
Oh man, I mean, we have to again look at, this is the decade. We've been saying that the past few videos, but like, do you know what that means? That means the last 10 entire years.
Yeah.
That's so much time.
Yep.
Marty McFly, come on. And that is an entire decade, and we are deciding what defines an entire 10 years in animation.
Yeah.
And I think I already said everything that I can say. I think that Steven Universe should be that.
100%. As much as I love Gravity Falls, as fun and weird and wacky as it was, I think that Steven Universe is the show of the 2010s, you know?
Absolutely.
It definitely talked to all of us about kind of how things are changing within our world and how we need to all just be cool and accept one another and, you know, talk about peace, love, and understanding, basically.
And what I have to say in defense of Gravity Falls, even though I'm definitely voting Steven, is that Gravity Falls was one of the first times I felt seen by Disney. They brought us Hannah Montana, they brought us Sunny with a Chance, they brought us all of these shows that were like, yeah, these super hot people are weird, but like, I can't relate to that.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
But then they gave us Mabel.
Then they gave us Mabel, and that is a character that I can see myself in. It is a great second runner-up.
Absolutely.
But I have to go with Steven. I think I already made myself clear. I've said that once before in the past 5 minutes. Steven has made inclusivity something that has now traveled across the globe. It has now been a household thing. And that's huge. I can't say the same about Gravity Falls.
Exactly. Steven Universe took things and concepts about gender, sex, and relationships, both romantic and platonic, and really explains them in a succinct way that's digestible by kids and adults alike. And it does a fantastic job of showing all of that. So I think Steven Universe is the one that defines the decade.
Boy, I'm going to feel really dumb if Gravity Falls wins.
Same.
What is it, Brett?
And the best cartoon of the 2010s, with 49.4% of the votes, is Steven Universe.
Yay!
Or, if I didn't purge any votes, Gravity Falls by 90%.
Well, that makes sense.
Winner takes all! Steve. I am so happy.
I'm very pleased with this.
And, dude, at the end of the day, I'm not surprised. I'm so happy that we were right about this. Steven Universe is so much fun. It is the funnest show, and it has taught me things.
Yeah, I adore this show. The music's great. It's super fun. I love the collar pot. I love everything about it.
Anytime you can jam out and learn,
Yeah.
good times.
Well, guys, thank you so much for voting on these brackets. We really appreciate it, and we did these videos for you guys, our fans.
And just to let you know, we really did put a lot of work and effort into these videos. Not to toot our own horns, but
Beep, beep.
Brett, our producer, he put hours and hours and hours of his time in the studio, in the editing bay, and in FedEx printing these beautiful things that you see up here. And best cartoon of the decade, best producer of the decade?
Okay,
Heck
that's
yeah.
Too much. I don't need that.
Is that
Yeah.
too much?
Say that again.
Is that too much?
No, we're
Brett?
keeping it and we're just going to continue
keeping
on.
it. We're
You
gonna-
can edit around us if you want to, Dad.
But why would you want to? We mean it.
That's very, very sweet.
So guys, we are not going to see you technically until 2020, but we have plenty of videos delivered for you.
Year.
We're going to have some stuff coming up. Brett's premiering them for you. You'll get to see us still as the holiday season continues. Thank you so much for hanging out with us this year. We wish you all the best. Happy holidays and have a very happy new year.
This has been Nerdwire 2019.
Yeah, I'm Chris Carr.
I'm Renee Van Lanningham. Best
Cartoon of the decade. Bye, guys.
Bye.